some deals. We made a couple trades and we're moving on. And for the guys that play those positions, it gives them an opportunity to get more reps and show us what they can do. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what our guys can do. You know, we're always looking for ways to improve the roster. My concern, obviously, is getting the team ready to play this week and beyond. And but we all know there are short-term and long-term things that go on.
All right, Bart, what do you think about what's going on with the Giants?
I tell you what, Sean Spicer is sitting there like, ooh, because he's out there taking one for the team, right? This is something that Gettleman put together. He sold us and he told us that, hey, this team was ready to win right now. Yeah. Right? That's why you make these finishing pieces. That's why you go out with your #2 pick and you say, okay.
You don't get a quarterback.
Right, you don't get a quarterback. You go get Saquon Barkley. That's why you go out and you get a Nate Solder, because you think you're close. Nah. Close only counts in horseshoes. And I think, he's out there having to take the brunt of all the, he doesn't understand how the New York media works. You can't just come out. We're too smart for that. I understand you guys are a national show, but this is a local story right here for right now. And this is a fire sale. And he lied to us. And somebody's got to be held accountable. We've replaced general managers, we replaced head coaches.
But he didn't. But Shurmur didn't lie.
McAdoo was smiling. McAdoo was like, yep, told you he was done.
Well, but Shurmur didn't lie. This isn't. There's a lot of criticism to be laid at the feet of a lot of people. I don't know how we can blame Pat Shurmur for much of any of this right now. Pat Shurmur does not pick the players. He does not pick the draft picks. He had no other option than Eli at quarterback. The one mandate it seemed he had coming into the year was Eli's got to be the quarterback, because the last coach, part of the reason he got fired was he benched Eli.
That's a whole nother story, right? Because I wonder, did Patricia not take this job because they were saying, okay, whoever comes in and takes this job, you're stuck with Eli Manning, understanding that everybody else had already knew that Eli was past his prime. This is a team that was sold that they can win now. This team is going to be in a real rebuilding mode, and it's going to take a long time. Gettleman came in and said he doesn't want to be in quarterback hell. Guess what? You're front smack dead in quarterback hell.
But I think it's different than what's happening in Oakland. Maybe Gettleman thought they could win with Eli Manning. Maybe they thought Eli had at least one more year left, not playing his best, but with a wide receiver and a star running back. And they thought Nate Solder could do more with that line, that the pieces were just firmly enough in place that they could do something.
Yeah, they thought so. But for me, I come from the old school. I done made plenty of mistakes. And the way to get from that mistake is just admitting what you did, see where you went wrong, and then legitimately try to rectify it by changing your decision-making going forward. Like, you do have new information, and that's where the Giants are. I believe that Dave Gettleman, they started out a lot like me. Eli still got a lot left in him. They can support him, get Nate Solder, get some other pieces. They should support him. Hey, I was wrong. I'm not addressing the media. I'm not the head coach, so how he goes about it's going to be a little bit different. But if I was doing it, I would just admit I was wrong, a lot like John Gruden. I'm getting ready to change this ship. I got to rebuild now, and I got serious concerns moving forward.
Can we use the T word? Is it time to use the T word? Because they're tanking. And they can say they're not tanking, they're tanking. And this is how you competitively tank. You start selling off pieces. And then you want to say you're not tanking. Watch in a couple of weeks. Some guys are going to start going on IR, right? Because guys are going to start, oh, my thumb, your thumb hurts, right? But what happened is they can't tank better than the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders already started the process because they recognized in training camp that this team wasn't where it needs to be. They're behind the process. Now they're hoping that they can find a way to get up to the top to maybe take Herbert, who may stay in.
Well, that's the thing. Justin Herbert might not even come out.
Right, so then next year, so now you're 2 years behind, right? So now we're in rebuild mode, right? The Jets are ahead because they took their quarterback now. So they're 2 years ahead of the Giants. So now you're waiting and hoping that a quarterback falls to you. So now you're saying, do I get a retread? Okay, so now what's going to happen now? Odell Beckham wants to be a star. You can't be a star if you're not in the playoffs. So now you got a bad locker room. Right, because he's out there about his. Everybody out there is Roscoe Jenkins, team of me. I'm out there trying to make sure I eat. I'm not worried about nobody else. Me. So what happens now? This locker room's going to be, fractured. And listen, we didn't even went trick-or-treating yet. And they're done for the second year in a row. They're done before Halloween. And now you have 10 weeks. Let me tell you, the pods are starting to be ordered. The U-Hauls are starting to be packed. These guys are going to mail it in. It's only going to go from bad to worse.
Yeah, I think Bart makes a couple good points here that we should watch. The #1 point being, you can tank in the NBA. Yeah, write that down.
Yeah.
You can tank in the NBA.
You don't get to say that. That's Bart's line. You don't tell me to write stuff down.
You can rent it. He's the OG.
I'm telling him when you ain't here.
Okay, go ahead.
And the reason why,
in the NBA.
Because it's a stat-driven league. Guys are playing, and it's not a whole bunch about team. It's about individuals playing. And
you ain't going to get killed.
No, absolutely. You're not going to get hurt. It's not as if I'm in the NBA and I'm a 2-guard, if the point guard is not good, it's not going to affect me so much. Now, if I'm a wide receiver and I got a less than up to par quarterback, if I'm a running back, I got a left guard. Like, these things affect your career. And Bart is right. I'm going to start looking after myself. If I'm in that locker room and if I'm a wide receiver, now, you think we're selfish on a regular team. On a team that's tanking, I got to get my numbers. That's the only. You talking about Odell Beckham was on pace to be one of the greatest receivers ever. Well, look what happened the last 2 years. Didn't I tell you it was going to be hard to keep that pace?
Right.
I said, Nick, I made 8 straight Pro Bowls, man. I don't even know how I did it. I said, there's no way Odell will be able to do that. It's hard to do it. Too many things can happen. And now you're tanking. And let me tell you the one voice that was not. I didn't hear anyone say this yesterday. Bart kind of alluded to it. There's one guy in that locker room can talk to OBJ, and you just sent him to Detroit. So now when the kid has a temper tantrum in the aisle, he wants candy, he wants cereal, he wants something else in the cart, who do you send to talk to him? Because we didn't have a general manager fired. We didn't have 2 head coaches fired because they didn't do the right thing. And now you sent the one guy, and you know how much he trusts Odell? Odell is babysitting his kids. That lets you know that he's got a speaking voice in Odell's life. And for him to trust him like that, these are things that I was concerned about when I left Minnesota, and they said the team was Dante Culpepper's and Randy Moss's. I said, okay. So that they become great.
Listen, you said something a few minutes ago that's important. You judged the Giants a certain way. You can now, 2 months later, look at it and say, I was wrong. And you know what? Because of what your job is and our jobs are, it's as simple as that. I thought it was this. I was wrong. If I misled the audience, my apologies. Gettleman's different. Gettleman misjudged it, and due to that misjudgment, changed the course of their franchise forever.
Gettleman said this pick. He said this pick is so easy that my mother would know which player to pick at number 2.
And so let me ask you this now. All the teams that picked after the Giants that took a quarterback, right now Giants call them, hey, Jets, we want to do Barkley for Darnold.
No
you
bueno.
Interested?
No bueno.
Hey, Bill, even the Bills, we want to do Barkley for Josh Allen. Now, we know he might need Tommy John, but we still going to play this one out. Hey, Cardinals, we want to do Barkley for Josh Rosen. You interested? No chance. So when it's one thing to misjudge it as an analyst. It's another thing to misjudge it not only as the GM, but the single most important offseason Dave Gettleman will ever have as the Giants general manager is the one he already had. And what he did in that offseason was everything was we can win now. We know Odell is, given the guy's $60 million guaranteed, probably isn't going to temper his emotion. We're going to do it. We're going to overpay for Nate Solder. We're going to use a high second-round pick on a guard to help out. To help out Eli. We are not even going to entertain moving on to Eli, moving on from Eli. We're not going to move any of these high-priced defenders when their value was higher because they had a full season ago.
And they doubled down on Eli when they cut Davis Webb.
Yeah, but this is why they have to trade all defensive players, right? Because you have to protect your franchise. And right now the franchise is Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham. Because if you start trading them, listen, Saquon he only knows one speed. He's out there trying to win Rookie of the Year because he wants 1 million Twitter followers, which he already has, but he probably wants 5 million now, right? So now he's going to be out there. What happens is you start trading away the bad offensive players you have, which I don't know who would even want half of them other than the receivers. You risk hurting your franchise player because, like you said, this isn't basketball. This guy get hurt.
No, the next guy to get traded is Jack Rabbit.
It's Jack Rabbit or Olivier Vernon. And you know, on my show, we had to have a cap guy on because they had to go snacks Eli Apple for the dead money. So now they can absorb. Now they can absorb some more money now. So now the next move, they're not done. You know, the next move is probably Jack Rabbit or Olivier Vernon.
To the Chiefs.
They have to
Norris Jenkins.
Right. They have to blow it all up. You know, but what happened is Gettleman came in here and he said, listen, this team isn't far away. I'm an old man. So that showed me that he was impatient because he wasn't really ready to have a true assessment. And we asked him, we said, you know, what's you got a decision on Eli? He's like, well, I watched the Philadelphia game. You told me one game where he looked good late in the season. You haven't watched the other games? Oh, I'm going to watch the other games. You know, he had already had his mind made up that he was going to go with Eli Manning because he was an old man. He didn't want to go through the process of trying to get a quarterback. He didn't want to be in quarterback hell. Now he's in quarterback hell, and he has problems in his locker room because Odell is going to be a problem, but they can't trade him because he's $40 million of dead money
No,
if they trade him next 2 years.
Right.
And how are you going to explain that to Mara?
There's also a lot of pressure, at least here in New York, to treat Eli Manning very well because you saw the backlash what happened last year when he got benched. It was everyone else but him. This year when he's playing terribly, I know his line is tough. It's everyone else's fault but
fans,
Eli.
You'll become one.
But maybe Dave Gettleman succumbed a little bit to that. Heard from the Manning family. He wanted so much for this to work out that it was clouded by what the right
it's a tough decision.
Didn't they run Phil Sims out of town? I didn't see nobody playing the world's smallest violin for him, and he basically won 2 Super Bowls, and they cut him his Pro Bowl year.
That's the first family of football, though. You need to consider some stuff.
Bart, thank you.